Hey everyone, Trent from the 30th Virginia Sharpshooter Battalion. Today we're going to be shooting a original Harpers Ferry 69 caliber smoothbore musket, which is right behind me. I've set up on some makeshift things because I want to show you how easily you can get your musket or rifled musket zeroed and dialed in with just some stuff you have at home. I have a ladder, homemade sandbag, and we're going to be dialing this one in today at 25 yards. So nothing too hard, nothing difficult, so you don't need an expensive tripod or use a table rest. We shoot these standing up for competition, so train as you fight. So if you're going to be competing standing up, you should find something of a standing rest. So that's what we have here today. Again, original model 1842 Harpers Ferry musket, and let's see how it shoots today. All right, so one thing that is good to do with any musket before you shoot it is to make sure you dry patch it. I store all my muskets with wet patches of ballistol inside the bore to keep them nice, clean, preserved, oiled. And before you shoot, you want to make sure you run 1 or 2 dry patches down the bore and pull out any excess oil that could be built up down in the breech. And one of the good habits the n-ssa has, one of many good habits, is we're going to snap caps before we fire. So we're going to fire at least 1 cap from the shoulder for safety, make sure that the muzzle is clear, which this one definitely is. And then we're going to shoot another one at the ground, just to also let you know that it's all clear. But I'm going to send a second cap from the shoulder because I know I want any oil to be out of this gun. I want it to be burnt up. I want everything to be clear. And part of that safety, again, point it down at a blade of grass. Make sure you can see that grass move to ensure she's clear. There's no obstructions between the cone, the hole, and anything else. As you can tell, I have ears and eyes on. Ear protection, eye protection with these muskets and these caps particularly. These caps do in fact send some debris back, so if you don't wear eye protection, you should, because after a few years of shooting you will notice that they in fact do have some spatter that come out. Take a little extra ramming to see how everything seats. This first shot and the next 2 will be 45 grains of powder. I am using Swiss 3F, and in the n-ssa typically we use 3F because it burns a little faster, quicker. Let's see how she feels. That is a beautiful sound, and nothing like hearing an original Harpers Ferry. That's a beautiful sound. And so I do have some dots or bullseyes downrange, and what I will say is I'm not worried about exactly where my impact is yet. I'm aiming at the same aim point, and what I want are 3 shots as tight as possible together. That's what the goal is, and that's going to tell me what powder charge this musket likes. I'm experiencing a little glare. Sometimes I use sight black. Being in the shade, I probably should have used some this go around, but we are just sending it. We got 2 shots relatively close together, but unless you got 3 all touching, keep shooting. There's quite a few times where you get a nice group and want to call it quits because you think it's not going to get better. But guess what? Sometimes she does get better. This absolutely is a treat. A dated 1847 Harpers Ferry smoothbore musket. All right, this will be the last shot for the 45 grain grouping. That's a pretty good group. That's a pretty good group. Let's go ahead and load up where I'll shoot 50. These will be the 3 shots of 50 grains each. And what you will notice is that I'm not shooting patched balls. It is to say you are not to use patches. So we are using, or at least I, in this particular case, I'm shooting a .67 sized round ball. Oh, I'll get some fouling there. There we go. Some .67 round balls that have been casted, and typically during the Civil War period, commonly the size for a round ball was a .650, and that allowed for a patch to go around it. Yeah, 50 grains. You can tell the difference. Nice little wallop there. So that's why you see if me not using a patch, that's why. Because these are a little oversized from the traditional ones. There we go, get a nice little sound out of it. And when you get used to shooting muskets, rifled muskets, smoothbores, when you're ramming, you'll get a metallic sound, a little ting that resonates when you know it's seated. You can also get a feel for it too, so you get both senses helping you out, make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. Again, using the same aiming point each time, loading up. And I probably should make sure my hand goes over. It is better to make sure you have those good procedures down. Sometimes at my home range, I sometimes tend to lax. But being safe is what matters. Make sure that at the end of your range day, you leave with the many finger, toes, and eyes that you came with. All right. So again, got the same aiming point here. I'm aiming 6 o'clock on my circles, which are about 2 inches, just under 2 inches. And I will say the rule of thumb when shooting or getting something dialed in is you want to make sure that aim small, miss small. So if you're dialing in, you want a small circle. So at 50 yards, I usually use about a 2-inch circle, maybe something smaller. I use a Sharpie and I trace something. You can get a colorful bullseye if you want, but ideally you want a black circle on a white background. That's going to give you the most simplest contrast. You don't have to worry about something blowing out your eye of being too bright, too washed out. So just a simple black dot, and I'll throw up a picture and make sure you can see what I got. And it looks like those 2 last shots are touching with the 50 grains of powder. But let's go ahead and load up and see what else we got left. All right, so we're going down range, and here's our targets we got. So as we start looking at these from right to left, we have 45 grains, 50 grains, 55 grains, and up here these 3, that's 60. So to give you an idea, there's roughly what type of groups we're looking at. and I'll get a ruler out and measure to get an idea of how things compare. So, and up here top right, we are going to shoot the 110 to really see how they group, see how it feels to shoot, you know, kind of standard combat load. And I think if you don't get that feel down, you're kind of doing yourself an injustice to really get a feel for what the soldiers of the American Civil War got to experience. So stay tuned. Powder, then ball, or she won't shoot at all. Second shot, 110 grains, shooting about 6 inches low, 100 yard or 25 yards. Not bad. Well, there you have it. 110 grains of powder and she thumps. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to keep an eye out for our fresh other videos coming out to give you some ins and outs on what we do and how we do it.